What's up and welcome back to the channel. The name is Ninja Knight. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell and check out my Patreon link down below. Thank you. So here I have a post from Hasbro Pulse and it says, "Hey Transformers fans, we sat down with Transformers product design manager Lenny for an exclusive behind the scenes interview about the new line of non-converting Transformers figures called R.E.D. Now I know an awful lot of you are sitting out there and saying to yourselves, why would you buy a Transformers figure that is a non-transforming figure? It starts to go against the purpose. And I do understand an awful lot of people that do feel like that. However, when you see the great strides that some figures have taken over the last number of years, and particularly with the 3-0 figures that Hasbro and 3-0 have worked on together collaboratively with to make fantastic looking Optimus Prime from the Bumblebee movie and a fantastic looking Bumblebee along with a Soundwave, and now it seems like we're going to get a Revenge of the Fallen Optimus Prime from that line. I think it makes sense then to say, well, people might not be able to afford that specifically because it has die-cast metal in it. Maybe if we shrink it down and do it in all plastic and make accurate versions of what some of our Transformers look like, particularly in robot mode, would be a great idea. And I'm all for this line. I think this line is a great idea. I think the first three figures that came out were very evocative of what they look like in the cartoon with Optimus Prime, Megatron and Soundwave. However, I feel like this second wave starts to go a little bit awry and there seems to be an awful lot of ideas going on here that just don't really work. So I'm going to talk about it over the course of this video. And I have to say I'm ultimately disappointed because when I heard the name Cheetor was going to come along in the robot enhanced design line, I was really excited. I'm a big fan of Cheetor, and when you know some of the history about what the character was supposed to be going into the show versus what he ended up being, it's quite an interesting tale of how character's arc is drawn up. And I think overall Cheetor went through the show as being this young and petulant character and then eventually grew into the Maximal's Essential later. And I think that was a really strong presence for him and a strong character arc. And this is a character that has a very nice design, and I thought personally that this line was going to focus on trying to give us the most accurate representations of the robot modes that we can see. We all know that there's robot modes out there that are nearly impossible to have an alternate mode fitted into them as well as the robot mode, and it just looks clanky, it looks junky. So when you're seeing something like this and you're seeing it really streamlined, you're going to have big expectations, and I had big expectations. Now what we're seeing here is a breakdown of the articulation that's in the figure, a lot of bog standard articulation for what we expect nowadays. But one thing here that you're looking at here is a head removal to show the robot chest. Now this is something that didn't feature in the Beast Wars whatsoever, and I think that is a strange idea in itself. They have to think about saying to themselves, keep it simple, keep it easy, and people will buy it. And that's all they had to do with this line. This line had to be just keep it simple, keep it safe, and people will buy. Look at how some other lines start off. For example, like the G.I. Joe lines, keep it simple. Core characters that people like, the way they look as well too, they changed that. What happened? Well, they had to revert to how the characters used to look because people didn't like the changes that they made to the G.I. Joe line. So they learned from that. Look at Marvel Legends and all of the lengths and strengths that they've gone to. Look at all the likes of Star Wars Black Series and the lengths and strengths they've got to. But it seems like sometimes the Transformers lines is a little bit behind in what people actually want. And it's safe to say that when you look at this character model here, you're saying to yourself, that looks pretty accurate to what we're seeing on the screen from Beast Wars. And then you come and look at some of the images that we're getting here, and even the colours here are way off. The head is completely inaccurate to what you see in the show, along with the leg kind of cross-guard, I suppose, shoulder pads that he has. And it just doesn't look like Cheetor from the Beast Wars TV show. I'm going to flick back to that image. And as you can see here, he has his guards, he has the head that's folded, it's kind of flattened down. You've got the head there, the shoulders are a lot bigger than what they are in this new one. And it just seems very strange when you look at the colours of this as well. Like the colours look very disjointed, like his feet are completely a different colour all around it, and it's very disjointed. I think you can really commend them on the fact that the cheetah pattern does look very nice. I think the removable aspect of this looks absolutely nonsensical, and I think that took away from it. And I also think the colouring on the head looks really bad. Now, as we're going to see in another picture, it looks even worse now when you have an up close look at this. I mean, look at this. Like, that is Cheetor's face in this. He actually looks like a Decepticon. And that's so bad to think about, that this is probably the most, I suppose, tame character that's ever come in Transformers. He's the most playful, nice character that you will see around. It's a very strange decision, and as we can see here, there's no maximal sign here on his crest where it usually is. His eyes are very, very strangely done, and there seems to be a really strong smirk. I mean, you could excuse yourself for saying this looks like Starscream, or it looks like Cheetor's been possessed by Starscream. As I said, the coloration as well is way off. Now, if this line was an idea of saying, look, we're going to give you a reinterpretation of some popular characters, a lot of people would probably say, yeah, okay, but I don't really understand why they've decided to do this, and why they've decided then to make an Optimus Prime, Megatron and Soundwave look quite accurate to the TV show. RC from R.E.D that looks okay, and a Coronation Starscream, it seems, that looks fairly accurate to what we've seen beforehand. Why they've gone and decided to mess around with Cheetor is beyond me. Is it something to do with the Kingdom line coming out at the same time and that having a very strong presence in terms of looks quite similar to what the original Cheetor did, even though it's not absolutely perfect? But for me, this is a missed opportunity, and I think that the Hasbro team need to go back to the design board and maybe think about what they are going to do going forward, because I've seen a lot of unhappiness online about this one. I'm personally unhappy about this one. I don't think this looks great, and I would have been someone that would be a huge supporter of this R.E.D line and the idea of it, because if you get characters, particularly in alternate modes and robot modes, that are in scale with each other and look like the characters have just stepped off the screen, you're going to have a lot of people that are going to buy into this. You're going to have a lot of people that loved the design of the Beast Wars characters, whether it be their alternate mode or their robot mode, and people are going to buy into that. You're going to have a lot of people that love the designs of the Autobots and Decepticons, whether it be, as I said, robot mode or alternate mode, and they're going to buy into that. When you decide then to go against what people know, particularly with these characters, and decide to give your own interpretation, it sets a bad precedent, and people are saying not interested, and that is going to cause Hasbro money. And then it's going to take for them then to say, well, we're not going to have more risks going forward. Like, are they going to put in a brand new character into this line, in terms of, are they going to just create a character and put one in? I would say no at this stage. So that's the kind of knock-on effect that you're going to have with this when you decide to do things like this. This is a very strange move. If they decided to remold parts and maybe have like a Shadow Panther idea, that would have been fine, or a Tigatron. I could understand that if you wanted to blow up the size of it, for example, and the head, that would be fine. But I find that this is a very strange decision to make, particularly around such an important character, and a character that an awful lot of people know and love. Very odd. If I was Hasbro now, what I would be doing is I'd be going back to the design board and I'd be saying, okay, people want characters that look like they've stepped off the screen. They want the robot modes and they want the alternate modes, because I think that if you had a cheetah form of Cheetor from the TV show that looks like a stepped out of the screen from Mainframe, I would absolutely buy that. And then you could have an alternate form Transformer and the robot mode standing beside each other, and a lot of people would buy that. They would absolutely 100% buy into that. And I think that this is a bit of a missed opportunity from the R.E.D line. It started off a little bit badly, in my opinion. The stuff being out of scale as well too doesn't help. That's what an awful lot of people want to see. And when you look at the inconsistency, for example, of saying that the line has been looking at a scale chart and has done scales for the likes of War for Cybertron and Earthrise, and it doesn't seem like they're going to worry about it too much with the Maximals and Predacons fitting in with the Autobots and Decepticons. But Kingdom is a scale line unto itself. So I don't know what they've decided to do here. I don't know why they've decided to do this. Maybe there was just less individuals involved with this creation and inception. But for me, when you're handing over from John Warden and handing over then to somebody else, you're expecting home runs straight away. And this doesn't look like a home run whatsoever. I don't think an awful lot of people were happy. And particularly some of the stuff that's been said, like making his thighs bigger because he looks like a sprinter. Very strange decision in my opinion. Anyway, that's my video for today. What do you think of this R.E.D line? Have you picked up any of them yet? An awful lot of people have been talking about the plastic quality, and the plastic quality for these figures does actually feel quite strange when it's in your hands. What do you think about the look for Cheetor in this one? Does this really appeal to you? Or do you think that they should have stuck way more to what we've seen on the animation from Mainframe? Would you like to see a scaling system being implemented in this line, in terms of if the Maximals are to stand together, they should all be scaled correctly? And also as well too, the likes of the Predacons, the Decepticons and Autobots having separate shelves and being able to scale with each other. What other type of figures would you like to see in the R.E.D line? I think that this is a good possibility for them to do the likes of the movie figures, for example, which had an awful lot of intricate designs. And if you implemented some of the fantastic articulation that you could now, you could have a very accurate looking robot mode. I think they've nailed it, and it looks like they've nailed it with the R.E.D RC. I would love to see Cliff Jumper from that. I would love to see Optimus, Bulkhead, some of these characters. I would love to see some Transformers animated characters in this line. I think that they would be absolutely fantastic. And as always, I would love to see Beast Wars Dinobot. I think he would be fantastic in this line if they created him like he stepped off the screen. Otherwise, I don't think you're going to have many people purchasing it. Drop a comment below. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you share the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell. Check out my Patreon link down below. And I'll talk to you later. Good luck.